My name is Pratama, and I am a student from the Information System at Universitas Teknokrat, Indonesia. In today's video, I will be explaining a very important topic in the world of information technology and organizational management, which is business continuity audit and disaster recovery. This topic is extremely important because every organization, whether it is a company, school, hospital, or government institution, depends on technology and reliable operations. When disruptions happen, organizations must be ready, and that readiness is achieved through business continuity and disaster recovery planning. So, in the next several minutes, I will explain this topic in a simple and clear way. Let's begin. Business continuity refers to the ability of an organization to keep operating even when something unexpected happens. A disruption can occur at any time. For example, a fire breaks out in a data center. A cyber attack shuts down a system. A server suddenly crashes. A flood or earthquake destroys infrastructure. There's a long power outage. Or even a pandemic forces employees to work from home. When these situations occur, organizations cannot simply stop. Customers still need services, employees still need information, and operations must continue. Business continuity ensures that the organization can continue to function at a minimum level while also planning for full recovery later. A good business continuity strategy includes identifying critical business processes, determining what resources are needed, preparing manual workarounds, training employees, maintaining communication channels, testing the plan regularly. Without these elements, an organization is vulnerable and may not survive major disruptions. Why is business continuity so important? There are three main reasons. First, disruptions are unpredictable. No one knows exactly when a disaster will happen. Because of that, organizations must always be prepared. Second, downtime is expensive, ***. Even 1 hour of system failure can cause financial losses, delayed services, and loss of customer trust. Some companies even lose millions of dollars from just a few minutes of downtime. Third, organizations must comply with regulations. Many industries require business continuity planning as a mandatory standard. For example, banking, healthcare, and government institutions. Business continuity gives organizations a confidence that they can continue to serve customers, even in the worst situations. A business continuity audit is a formal and structured assessment of how well an organization has prepared for disruptions. The purpose of the audit is to answer several important questions. Is the business continuity plan complete? Is it updated regularly? Do employees understand their responsibilities? Has the plan been tested? Does the organization have enough resources to carry out the plan? Auditors will examine the organization's BCP from various angles, including documentation. The auditor checks policies, procedures, guidelines, emergency contacts, and communication flows. Risk assessment. The auditor analyzes whether the organization has identified threats such as cyber attacks, server failures, natural disasters, and human errors. Business impact analysis, BIA. This step determines which business functions must be restored first during crisis. Recovery strategies. The auditor checks whether the organization has effective strategies, such as redundancy, backup power, alternative work locations, and manual procedures. Testing and exercises. This involves evaluating how often the organization tests its BCP through drills, simulations, or system failover testing. If the audit finds weaknesses, the organization must improve its plan immediately. Disaster recovery, often shortened as DR, is a crucial component of business continuity, but it focuses specifically on restoring technology, data, and IT infrastructure after a disaster occurs. While business continuity ensures an organization can continue basic operations during a crisis, disaster recovery ensures that all critical technology systems, such as servers, networks, databases, and applications, can be restored to normal as quickly as possible. Without disaster recovery, an organization may continue its operations manually for a short time, but eventually, the lack of functioning IT systems will cause failures, delays, and even complete operational shutdowns. In disaster recovery planning, organizations must understand two important concepts: recovery time objective, RTO, and recovery point objective, RPO. RTO represents the maximum amount of time that a system is allowed to be down before it must be restored. Meanwhile, RPO represents the maximum amount of data that may be lost during a disruption. For example, if an organization has an RPO of 5 minutes, this means that the organization must back up its data at least every 5 minutes to ensure minimal loss if a disaster occurs. In addition to RTO and RPO, a strong disaster recovery strategy includes having reliable and frequent data backups, choosing secure and geographically separate backup locations such as cloud storage or offsite data centers, and implementing failover mechanisms that automatically switch operations to backup systems whenever the primary system crashes. After the failure is addressed, failback procedures are used to return operations to the original systems. Disaster recovery also involves detailed emergency procedures, well-documented steps for restoring technology, and readiness to replace damaged hardware if necessary. Because technology plays a major role in almost every aspect of modern operations, disaster recovery is not just an IT responsibility, but a critical survival strategy for the entire organization. The business continuity and disaster recovery audit process is a comprehensive and structured examination designed to evaluate how prepared an organization is to respond to disruptions. The audit begins with preparation stage, where auditors gather essential information such as organizational structures, critical business functions, existing continuity plans, past incident reports, and the overall technology environment. This initial understanding is important because every organization has different priorities, dependencies, and risk levels. After preparation phase, the auditor proceeds to the evaluation stage. In this stage, risk assessments and business impact analysis, BIA, documents are reviewed to verify whether the organization has accurately identified its risks and understood the potential impact of disruptions. The auditor also examines the business continuity plan and disaster recovery plan in detail, ensuring that both plans include clear roles and responsibilities, recovery strategies, escalation procedures, communication flows, and backup methods. The next part of the audit involves interviews with key personnel such as IT managers, department heads, security teams, and emergency response members. These interviews help the auditor confirm whether employees truly understand their roles during a crisis and whether the documented procedures are being followed in practice. Once the interviews are completed, the auditor evaluates the organization's ability to execute its plans by reviewing the results of past tests and simulations. These tests may include backup restoration exercises, system failover testing, communication drills, or evacuation simulations. The auditor analyzes whether the tests were successful, whether errors occurred, and how effectively the organization responded to unexpected issues. By the end of this review, the auditor compiles all findings into a comprehensive gap analysis, identifying areas where the organization is strong as well as areas that require improvement. This may include gaps in documentation, outdated procedures, inadequate training, insufficient backup frequency, or the absence of proper technological safeguards. The audit concludes with a final report that provides detailed recommendations to enhance the readiness and resilience of the organization. These recommendations often guide management in updating policies, improving recovery strategies, investing in new technologies, and strengthening employee preparedness.